Hey folks, I'm Joe, and today on Big Fast Customs we're finally going to test fit the LS engine and our 4L80 transmission into the Camaro for the first time. Stick around. Hey folks, did you miss me? I missed you. Yeah, it's been really busy at the beginning of the year. It's mid-March right now, and it's just been really busy with work. I really haven't had any time to put any significant dent in any of my projects. So today I'm actually going to take the day off and we're going to do some stuff to the Camaro because it's been about a year since we did anything to the Camaro. I've done a little bit of stuff off camera and I'll show you some of that, but one of the things I wanted to do is give you guys some wiring tips. Now, this LS is out of a truck and we're using, at least the plan right now, is to use the stock truck harness. And I've spent time going through the harness, removing the things I don't need, and kind of rearranging the wires so that, like, you know, the coil wires and the injector wires are going under the intake and making it look, you know, a little nicer. But I want to give you guys some tips because I spent a lot of time doing this. If you're going to wire your hot rod or your LS, you're going to want to hear this. You, of course, got to plan out what you're going to have on the motor. You know, it's best, like you can see, I've got, you know, all the stuff mounted up here so I can know my wire lengths and get everything kind of set up. But once you got all that figured out, you really just got to kind of dive in there and start wiring things together. And, you know, you'll probably make some mistakes, but you can fix that all later. But here's the big tip, and you don't even need to write it down. I'm sure you'll remember. Get in there, get working, get about 3/4 of the way done, and then just stop. Walk away for like 3, 4, 6 months, you know, whatever feels right. That gives your brain time to rest. And then when you finally come and get back on it, your brain is so relaxed that it forgot most of the stuff you were already doing. So you get to say cool things like, why did I do that like that? And is this the right place for this? You know, it's what I did, and it's working. So it becomes more of an adventure if you take your wiring diagram that you put all your notes and everything on and put it somewhere safe and then forget where that is. That makes it a lot of fun. But you get 2 full extra man points if you can come up with a new swear word while you're going through all this. Mine's rotten. Feel free to use that if you need to get your point across anywhere. But I finally got the wiring the way I wanted, as much as I can. The plan is for the harness itself to run somewhere around here at the back of the intake into the firewall, and I want the computer inside. In order to do that, this has to go in the car. So we've done a little bit of work. Don't get too excited. This motor is not together yet. The low end is still all in one piece, but the heads are barely bolted on. The intake's just kind of sitting here. We're going to pull off the intake, the wiring, the headers, mount the plate, get the transmission on here, and try and fit it into the car, and then add these things back on and see if there's anything that's going to rub or hit or anything that needs a modification. Hopefully, I think we've got everything in a good point. The only thing I'm worried about is the headers, so we'll see how that turns out. But I do have a little bit of stuff that we've done to the car to get ready for this. So let me grab the camera and I'll show you some of that. All right, folks, back over on the car, you can see I've got the motor mounts in. We got the new urethane bushings in the lower part, and on the engine I do have the LS adapter adjustable motor mounts. So we should be good as far as that goes. Back when we did the subframe, we added the cross member for the 4L80 that's going in this. But the final part before we could really test fit it was the smoothing the firewall. So I did put out a few shorts, get it in here welding and grinding this all down. And you can see we still got some finishing work to do. It turned out pretty good, but it still needs some finishing work. And we're going to do all of that after we get the motor back out and we're going through the whole firewall and finishing that all up. We'll fix those spots and paint it all up nice and it'll look good. But we need to get that motor attached to its transmission and dropped in here. And once we get it in there and we know everything fits, we're going to map out where the wiring harness is going to go through, and hopefully we're going to be able to measure for the drive shaft so we can order that in. And then, yeah, we'll be in a good spot. This will be a big milestone, getting this set down in here and testing all that stuff out, because after that, the motor should go together fast, and hopefully we'll get the drive shaft in time, and maybe we can take this for a ride sometime this summer. But let me go get Gidget. We're gonna probably put this on time lapse, and we'll strip the motor down, get the transmission hooked up to it, and start weaseling it down into the engine bay, and let's see how it turns out. Wish us luck.
Two hours later.
Here's my hammer. If I say hit it, get it in there. Almost. Damn control arm's in the way. Hit it. Go, 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 go. We got you. And I don't ever want to take it out again. Taking it out will be the easy part.
Putting it back in again.
You know, hopefully we can.
If you leave it like that for a little while, maybe it'll like kind of mold to it.
I doubt that, but that's wishful thinking, all right. All right, folks, we got her in. It took a couple of hours, and really the big headache was the motor mounts. I have never had so much problem with the motor mounts, or Chevy motor mounts, before. I think these ones are kind of twisted, and I really had to fight them to get everything to line up and get the through bolts in. So I think when I take this all back out, I'm probably gonna maybe elongate some holes a little bit just to allow me some extra play to get everything in, and then I can tighten them down. But that was what we fought with the most. Also the transmission, I left the cooling lines on it, and the stock cooling lines definitely won't work. They stick out too far, so I had to pull them off while it was already under the car. But once those came off, there's plenty of room on the passenger side of the transmission. The driver's side is a bit tighter, but I still have all the stock stuff on there. So I've got to look up and see what can come off or what I can move and free up a little bit of space over there. But it's tight, but it's not a problem tight. So I might clearance the hump inside the car just a little bit if I need to, but I think some of that stuff can move around or give me a little bit of space and it'll be fine. But as far as everything else goes, we've got plenty of space underneath for our oil pan. The headers seem to fit. I don't have my steering box on yet, but the steering box should run straight up through here. So at most, maybe I have to dent that back one a little bit, but it looks good. The header on this side is no problem, except, I don't know if you can see it well, I gotta trim the corner of the transmission off right there, because with the collector on it, the header won't fit. So I'll trim that corner off, then that'll all fit good. We've got plenty of space back here. I think I'm gonna just run my wiring straight out the back of the intake, straight through the firewall right there, and that'll look good. And if you crouch down and look at it, ignoring the pile of wires there, the intake is nice and low. It's below the firewall, so even with a flat hood, this should fit with no problem. But we've got the Cal induction hood, so definitely not going to be a problem. I need to order the right yoke for the transmission. There's two types. There's a bolt-in type, there's a slip-in type. I have the bolt-in type, but this trans takes the slip-in one. So as soon as I get that, I can measure for the drive shaft. We know we've got to trim the transmission, maybe adjust some stuff on the motor mounts. But other than that, it fits really well. A lot of people said the transmission the 4L80 was pretty tight, but it seems like we've got plenty of room. So yeah, it's fitting good. I'm happy we have it test fit. I'm not looking forward to pulling it and putting it back in again, but I'm happy to see that everything's fitting and the car is going to come together real easy once we get the motor all put together and the firewall finished off. We should be able to get that motor back in and have everything bolted back up. So I've got a new radiator. I might try and fit that before I pull the motor out again, just for checking whether I'm going to use an electric fan or the stock one. I think I'm going with electric, but we'll see. But all in all, I'm happy. We got a lot done today. This is a big milestone for the Camaro. Having the motor test fit with the transmission, everything in the car. This looks really good. Now we know we can start moving forward with everything else, like building the motor, putting the dash back together, and get this car back on the road. So guys, I really appreciate you watching. I hope you're enjoying this. I know the Camaro is a little different than the Model A stuff we usually work on, but we're going to be doing a lot of stuff here on the channel, a lot of different types of cars, and I hope you guys stick around. So make sure you like and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one.